Bill and Carmen, the Morning Cruise here at the Joy FM.
We are having so much fun with David Crowder this morning. Let's talk about death.
It's gonna be great to live, to die. It's a game. Okay.
Yeah, I was assigned your single, Grave Robber.
Okay. Yeah. There you
Assign.
Volunteered.
Here's how we do it.
Okay.
Whenever you're here this morning, you've got a new record out, Exile. Well, when we have an artist and we're kind of tracking through a lot of the record, we all go listen to it, and we have a shared note on our phones, and we all grab a song. And I always try to pick.
I got this one.
And I always try to pick first, and we're going to get to mine. He picked
did.
this
She's
one.
quick.
He picked
Okay.
this one.
I did.
Okay.
And the reason is because I ran across a book that I was given one time by you. It's
Oh, my
it's
goodness.
a recent read for me, and I've gotten
That's a mind trip of a read right there.
It is.
Yeah.
I read the introduction, the prologue. I think that's in the right order, and then I read the end, and then the beginning, which that's the way it appears in the book. And I must say, I'm so sorry for all the publishing errors that you had in the book. Different fonts. You had columns laid out sideways.
Sideways.
It's
they eventually-
I'm so sorry. But it's a great book. It's called Everybody Wants to Go to Heaven, but Nobody Wants to Die by David Crowder with Mike Hogan.
Yes.
And it is quite an interesting read. And one of my favorite quotes from this book is on page 13. The loss of a family member or close friend can easily spark a desire for the social possibilities afforded by sharing one's grief with... Oh, wait a second. That's not your quote. That's Kurt Faso. That's you quoting someone else in the book.
I do that often in that book. 'Cause
I apologize for that. But there are some wonderful lines in this book. And here's one of them with you riffing on what I just read from Kurt Faso there. When we experience death, whether it is the death of someone close to us or the death that we would all feel like in community if somebody famous dies, you write this: community erupting from tragedy. It's the need for one another to share in loss, to know that feelings are common, and give a surety that we will somehow be all right. And I thought this is the basis for what we have in the Bible called lament. It seems to be a lost art
Agreed.
in our worship services, in even our lives. We always want to marginalize this, but there's something really redeeming and really important about lament. And it goes to what we get in Grave Robber. So see if you can put those thoughts together and say a few things about what it means for a Christian to have that gift of lament to deal with death, and then where God can take that because of Christ and the resurrection.
That is well asked. Isn't it crazy how many psalms? There's so much lament in the Psalms. You know, we tend to, even as a songwriter, I'll find myself trying to flip to the ones that I can feel good about us singing together on a Sunday morning, and it uplifts us, and our Sunday is better because of it. Where there's a lot that is heavy in life, and I think the Jewish faith sits in it a little, you know, to be able to sit and lament and understand that there's loss and that we have lost something. And you know, I think our faith is unique in a sense that it recognizes this. Like Buddhism would be rid yourself of attachment and then you feel no pain or loss. Well, I think it's important that we love well. And when you love well, when a person that you love is absent, you feel that absence. And I think that's important for us to understand, because there's the hope that there is a reunion coming. There's a great rejoicing in a reunion that's to take place. And that's worth singing about too. But I think we need to sit in the loss sometimes. Grave Robber is coming out of a story that I think is one of the most beautiful in all of Scripture, because it's the verse that everybody knows and kind of makes fun of, that we can all quote, Jesus wept. You know, the short two words.
Yeah.
But man, in those two words, there's so much. He even knew that there was going to be rejoicing, that Lazarus was not going to be absent any longer. But because his friends felt such sorrow, he too empathized to the point of tears and wept because of what we feel. And that is a unique person to try to follow and imitate. And so Grave Robber comes out of that story, the Lazarus story, knowing that the guy we're following and who's got us, if he can conquer death, he can conquer whatever's in front of you. That's for sure. But he also feels everything that we feel, and feels the heaviness, and feels the loss, feels the absence of the body, and that's worth giving your life for a guy like that. So there's depth in that. It's a fun song too, though.
It is a fun song.
Yeah.
Crank it up,
Yeah.
but there's a lot to it that's trying to say some heavy things. Yeah, death is so much fun to talk about in the morning.
Hey,
Isn't it great?
and this song, number one.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean,
hit
what in the
number
world?
one.
Yeah.
Rock and
Multiple
roll
weeks.
is
Yep.
back.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
me.